What gives you hope?
Uh, that the 401 is not blocked when we're heading back to the airport. No. Uh, Gives me hope. Well, I think just waking up every day for my whole life, like I never woke up without this crazy feeling in my gut that I just didn't belong and I didn't want to be here. And you know what? And you know what gives me hope and what's exciting? And you know what? Everybody looked at my life. They go, "Oh my God, you've 9 Gemini awards at the movies, and you wrote a book. You've been on Oprah. You're Canadian Newsmaker of the Year. You played in the NHL for 8 years. You're da 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 da, right? On, and all that stuff to me is like, whatever. You know what I mean? Like now, I feel like I'm just starting to live, like just starting to enjoy life, and that's what gives me hope. And what gives me hope is, coming and doing this interview to see what other people are doing, because there was a point in my life where, you know what, there wasn't any of this. You know what I mean? And this is cool. Like this is the cool part is that there is change happening, and that keeps giving me hope. And there's always a lot of fear, and there's always a lot of wonder of why am I doing this? Like why am because it's not pleasant going back to certain parts of your life that you work so hard to get out of. But you know what? When I come and do something like this, and do this interview with you, and see what other people are doing with the people at Ways here in London, and that's what gives me hope.
So who are your heroes?
You know what? I think a hero of me is people that I see come into the young people I see come into the program of AA and that I sponsor and that I see turn their lives around. Those kids are heroes to me, because you know what? We don't deal with it. Alcohol and drugs they're one thing, but there's a whole underlying you know issues that the abuse and all that, and to see these kids that come in at 15, 16 and stick around and pick the phone up and ask for help even though how hard it is, those they're the heroes to me. And then you see these kids come in and they're like, yeah man, I love being a bad boy, you know what I mean? And you know what, deep down they don't like being a bad boy, you know or this, like dressing grungy, and you know what I mean? Like they like to be clean and healthy when it comes right down to it, and to see that transition in them, I think those are my heroes, because you know what? They're willing to change. And anybody that's willing to change and sticks with it, change is tough. So anybody that's willing to change are my hero.
You mentioned during your skate across Canada that the point was to make something visible that was invisible. That when people can't see the damage from sexual abuse, they don't understand it. Do you think there's still stigma around it?
Oh, absolutely. I think there's stigma around abuse. I think there's stigma around bullying. I think there's stigma around all those harassment and sexual exploitation. It's all that, because you know what? A lot of times people are, just get over it. Like, come on. You know what I mean? Like, geez, like, suck it up there, you know? And, uh, and that ain't the case. And you know what the sad part is that those are the people that most of the time when something happens come running to, a Ways, or come, I know in my case, come running and help me. And, and it's not until then that they realize. So, I think to make something visible that's invisible, I think that still is my goal. Is because this kills people, like Martin Cruz that killed himself jumping off the bridge. And how many times did I see when I was rollerblading across Canada, kids, young teenagers, I mean suicide, taking their lives, one after another, and then the parents coming to me saying, oh, I didn't find out till after what was going on. So to me it kills people. I mean, how many times I've been in jails, like time and time again, and within these maximum prisons, speaking to people, and these young men and women that have killed their abusers, that are in jail for how many years, and we just lock them up and not going deep into what's going on in their lives. um, and I'm not saying every single one of them, but a very high percentage of them have had brutal abuse issues, and and they're in trouble with the drugs. I mean, for me, I mean, you know, like if I didn't have, I mean, you could always say, oh, what if, but I could have been there. I mean, I relate to them because that's the way I felt, you know, and yeah, I mean, you know, through the grace of God, I'm not there, but I could have been easy,